And yeah, this is the, I'm sorry, Ibu Karen, and also Pak Andy, I'm sorry, the example is not good. This is from Japan. Yeah. So I don't want to show the cars. I just want to show the chart that the today's availability of the battery is maximum only for 160 kilometers. This is the maximum. And also the price, the maximum is 600 US dollar per kilowatt hour. So this is the existing technology. We hope in the near future there will be a new battery technology with the rare earths, the invention of the new rare earths or rare metals become the new material for battery. We hope we can have a longer battery, faster charging time, and also lighter battery. And this morning, I just joking with Ibu Karen, how about the flood in Indonesia? So we have also to create the battery for Indonesia, yeah, anti-flooding battery. So any flood like in Bandung, you don't have to worry, because the battery is flood-free battery. Yeah, but this is the reality. Yeah? We are talking about low carbon emission, then we cannot far from the battery. The only zero emission is using battery. Full electric vehicle, that's the i3 from BMW. And for us in Indonesia, we try to see from many angle or many criteria. How about the affordability? How about the emission? How about the power? How about the driving range, thermal efficiency, and also the refueling? If we are talking about the left, the most left top, this is the spark ignition engine. This is what we are now using. Affordability, everybody can buy. Infrastructure, you can find any gas station. Refueling, very fast, yeah. If you have a lot of money, then full tank, and you can, you can drive. But thermal efficiency, of course, a bit low. Driving range, of course, the driving range is very long. Power, the bigger the engine and the bigger the power you have. But the emission is very poor. The same with the most right top, the compression ignition engine, the diesel engine. It's almost same. Maybe we use mostly in the commercial cars. And the most sophisticated that Andy just explained is the most left below, the electric vehicle. Affordability is still expensive, yeah? Maybe this is also expensive because of the taxation structure. And the infrastructure, yeah, still not so many charging stations. Refueling takes time, in terms of hours. Maybe with the new battery, in terms of minutes, or maybe seconds. But the thermal efficiency is very high. No thermal anymore. And power, it's depend. Now getting more powerful, yeah. And the low emission, of course, very high, zero emission. And the most right below is the fuel cell. Even more expensive fuel cell. So condition for the fuel cell now is almost same with the electric vehicle. And we try to find the balance. The balance, of course, now is the hybrid cars. the plug-in hybrid or hybrid cars, and more affordability. So maybe government should do something to attract more hybrid cars to use in Indonesia or even to produce here. At least we can start with the CKD first, and then next. Pak Kuku from Gaikindo will explain, because Pak Kuku represent the car manufacturer in Indonesia. As I mentioned, we don't want that we introduce a new taxation scheme, but then no local producers or components can, share in the development of this industry. So this is the main presentation of myself. So I hope in the e-mobility, of course, our main target is to reduce the CO2. And to avoid the chicken and egg dilemma, so we don't want to make a new regulation without getting support from the ecosystem, which is already established in Indonesia, the business itself, and also the demand, I mean the people. And of course, for the future automotive roadmap, this is now being developed together with Gaikindo. We try to not to create something new. We try to adapt the ASEAN concept, or maybe some European, Japanese, and also the Americans. And of course, we need collaboration with international community in achieving our low carbon mobility in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Putu. Government is also really starting to look at some of these issues. Maybe we move from the government to the private sector with Pak Kuku. In terms of Gaikindo's own approach to lower carbon emission and moving away from a heavy dependence on fossil fuel, do you think realistically, the auto industry is ready for this transformation?
Thank you, Sweb. In terms of readiness of the auto industry to face this challenge, I think the technology is there. It's just a matter of where the technology is. Currently, the Indonesia automotive industry have a capacity of about 1.9 million production per year, and Indonesia is ranked number 16 globally as a car production, and slightly below Thailand. Of course, with the new challenge that we need to be concerned with the fuel economy, at the same time also we have to concern about the emission. That's the way toward the e-mobility. Now that we have production capacity, but still most of the car being produced here is for domestic consumption, which is on the emission standard still Euro 2. And if we want to utilize, as Pak Putu mentioned, that we need to maintain the labor force and the production locally, we have to maintain that one. We want to utilize the production capacity to export the vehicles to other country, while the other country is already adopting or using a new standard like the CAFE, the corporate average fuel economy, and so on, and also carbon tax. So as also Pak Putu also mentioned, that we are currently studying what's the implication and when we're gonna introduce this, because certainly we can produce here locally here, and we invite all the global manufacturer, that you can produce here and sell it here, so you can compete with the other car manufacturer with different kind of technology. The issue is whether we can do that one. But again, the technology is there. It's just a matter of when we're going to bring it here, how we can bring it here so that the people in Indonesia can afford to buy that technology. And I just talked a different topic with our colleague in ASEAN that they are also moving toward that direction. Some country in ASEAN is already prepared with the infrastructure, the charging point, and within 3 or 5 years they are preparing that one. Of course, Indonesia will not be left out on that one. We will follow. The tax structure is being studied right now. The carbon tax, Gaikindo is also doing the study. Which one is the best fit for Indonesia? I think that's the readiness of the industry will support that direction on the e-mobility.
Thank you, Pap. I think, yeah, this is one of the challenges facing not just the automotive sector, but many other sectors where there is some disruption going on, new technologies are coming in. What do you do with existing technology and existing resources? Pak Munawaran, you have traveled the world and studied the auto industry quite in depth. Maybe you can share with us, you know, what you have seen in other countries and how they have approached this challenge.
Thank you, Pak Soeb. Yeah, as a journalist, I mean, automotive journalist, I've been lucky to try almost every new cars all around the world. Of course, we have been talking about these electric cars for years. I think since early 2000. But you know, what Pak Andi from BMW and Pak Putu has been explained are very ideal. But as a media, we also found ourselves in a very dilemmatic situation, almost like screaming to the moon. Yeah, we urged the government day after day just to put just little important first step to improve the roadmap to the future of automotive industry. Say, I'm agree with Pak Andi that in the next 15 or 20 years, all European market, perhaps almost 100% new cars will be in electric vehicles. Today, I think more than 5% of new cars in Europe are electric vehicles. Next step, perhaps in America and Japan. But for Indonesia, we still have a lot of things to do. We have very large number of homeworks, especially by the government. I'm glad here, Pak Putu. As a media, we represent the automotive consumers. At least we can start with the reducing the bad quality oil first. We need to improve our Euro standard. We've been implemented Euro standard, Euro 2, for 26 years now. Since, well, Euro standard started to be 2005, yeah? Euro 1 and then Euro 2. But our neighboring countries says like Singapore, correct me if I'm wrong, Pak Andi, Singapore will be applied the Euro 4 by 2018, right? Yes. Euro 5 already. Okay. So we are far left behind from our neighbor countries. I think, but we're talking about energy, it's always related to politics, I think. I mean, every government use energy as a political tools, and it's quite complicated. And sometimes we are helpless because, you know, just like I've said before, we scream into the moon because nobody hears that we need to improve our oil quality, fuel quality, because we deserve to have more, you know, clean air. And but we can skip it, like India. India will skip the Euro 3. No, they are in the Euro 2. They will start the Euro 4 directly from Euro 2. Well, I know. I spoke to Pertamina. There's discussion 2 months ago that were very, very expensive to build new refinery mills for Euro 4. And even Pa Yusuf Kala last year said that we can import it. I know it is very expensive, but at the end of the day, I think it's all about the goodwill from how strong your will to change the situation now. So we hope before we talk about the taxation scheme, what the incentive that the government can give to the industry to provide the electric cars, I think we should start first with reducing the bad fuel quality. And as a consumer, I think whatever the industry throw to the market, they will swallow it, as long as first it's affordable and fulfill their demands on the product. That's the point. Thank you, Baswan.
Thank you, Pak Munawan.